Hi Capricorn, welcome to How Love Tarot. This is your money, career and finance reading for November 2021. I want you to, regardless of how this reading is going, I want you to stick out with me. I want you to stick with me to the end, because the cards at the end, as I was pulling the energy, are incredible. So bear with me as I get to the outcome. This present position is meant to validate that this is your reading. If this present position does not make sense, this is not your reading. The other thing is one of the reasons why this present position may not make sense is because you're watching the reading too early. So what I would suggest is for you to come back and watch the reading. Now, Spirit has told me, because I'm doing this particular reading towards the end of, not the end, but kind of like mid-November, this money, career and finance reading is going to take you from now all the way to the end of December. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a money, career and finance reading for you again, only if I might do it for random zodiac signs if Spirit tells me that the energy's changed and I need to do another reading. In the present position, we have the Ace of Swords, and what we have here is brilliant ideas that may need refinement, overcoming obstacles with faith, and everything will work out. Communicate clearly and concisely. Remain objective. So what we have here is there's been some, it feels like a disagreement in regards to how to move forward in the ideas that you have. And these are innovative. There's an innovative new idea for some Capricorns here that you're wanting to move forward with, develop, strengthen, and liberate yourself, transform your life with. However, it's kind of left field is what it feels like. And so you may be dealing with naysayers, right? You may take it to people that you know, and they're kind of like, it may not be in their words, but it may be in their expression that, you know, you're a little bit cray-cray. Why are you doing that? And so there has been, there's been this difficulty as you try and get this off the ground, where it feels like you waver in and out of having passion for what you're doing, because right now you're getting validation externally from people you know and even people you don't know. For some of you, this may be a business idea that you're trying to shop to others. For others of you, it's an investment idea. And then for some of you, it's like a new career direction or a new way of making money. But the thing is, in the present position, whatever you're looking at, whatever this is that has to do with money, career, finance, business, investment, it's definitely something that you're not that skilled in. Or if you are skilled in it, you're taking it in an absolutely new direction that either has never been done before, or it is something that you have very little experience in the direction that you're taking it in. So that's what's coming out in the present position. And you know, here it says communicate clearly and concisely. And I feel that if you're somebody that has a new idea and you need to get business investment, then you're going to have the market research to prove your ideas. Because in this, you can see that ultimately where it will take you is to the desired outcome that you want, which is abundance and freedom to do what it is that you want. You're very passionate about this idea. You really believe in it. However, and it's yours. It is your idea and it is for you. However, if you have to get some type of business investment, it's very important that it's not the passion and the emotions that sell the idea, but it is the evidence that it works. It is the evidence that there is a need and there is a gap in the market. So this is a very detailed reading for some of you, and for others of you that, you know, can't resonate with the fact that you have a new idea. you do have a new idea. Spirit is not taking me away from that. So for those of you that can't resonate yet, that you have a new idea in regards to how to make money, you may want to come back and look at this at the end of December, because something is brewing in your energy. Again, it has to do, so for some of you, it's your destiny, it's your path, it's something that you've been working on. For others of you, it's kind of like you fall upon it, and you just kind of switch up one day and realize that you can go in a whole different direction that will give you the power and the strength that you need to carry you through for the rest of your life. It will define your purpose. So, but it does need refinement, okay? Whatever idea this is, this innovative idea that's going to transform, you know, it feels like the way people are doing things or looking at things, it's very transformational, but you have a lack of support here. In your strength position, I have for you the Moon, and I have for you the Six of Swords. Spirit, can you bring forward the strength for Capricorn in this situation, in money, career, finance, business, investment? Tell me more about what's happening in this situation for Capricorns that can resonate with the present position, however, need some direction. Here we have listen to your intuition and pay attention to the signs from the divine. Unnecessary worry, let go of your fears. Revelations will make everything clear. Now here it shows the Six of Swords. You're leaving behind a very difficult situation that may have cost you your career. It may have cost you a lot of money to get your career, you know, like if you have a degree in, I don't know, law or something like that. And the thing is that there's in the strength position, there's this there is a burden that you have to take with you. And I know that this is not the Ten of Swords, but the energy is here that you have obligations and you have responsibilities, and it does feel like something that you've put money into. And in the strength position, what you're doing is you are figuring out ways of, you know, because we've got the Moon twice here. We've got the Moon right here, but in the background, in the foreshadowing right here is the Moon. And so again, we have the hidden ideas and the innovation that's brewing within you. But it's in the strength position, it's showing very, very calm emotions, and it's showing you moving forward and taking what you know, taking the hardships that you've dealt with, and not reinventing the wheel. I don't feel like you're reinventing the wheel. I do feel like you're doing something new, and for many of you, it has to do with something that you already have like knowledge in. So let me use the law example again. So let's say you have a law degree and you have a ton of student loans. What it feels like here is, yeah, you can go ahead and become a lawyer, and I guess the trajectory, I'm not in law, but I would guess that the trajectory is that you would become an attorney, go work for a practice, become a partner, and do it in the normal rung of every ladder way. But this shows innovation. So this shows that in the strength position, you're taking everything that you know, but there is something, there's a driving force that's making you look at, let's say, law in a new direction. So one of the things that you may be doing is specializing in an area where there's not a lot of specialty in. So for example, I don't know if this exists, but I'm going to give you an example, and hopefully it doesn't offend anybody. But let's say you're living in Pennsylvania and you're an attorney. And again, I don't know if this exists, but let's say the Amish community in Pennsylvania are not represented by the law because of their culture and how they deal with things. Let's say you're in Colorado or Utah or one of, you know, South Dakota or somewhere, or Montana, and you have the native American culture that only within their culture are there attorneys. It feels like you're going to do something innovative where you already have the knowledge, but you're going to take it in a new direction. So you're going to start to represent underrepresented groups, and you're going to and that's just an example where you're going to take, something that you already have, and and the innovation and the transformation is you're going to focus on the niche that's completely underrepresented. And so that shows in your strength. It shows that when you do this for one, the crowd will follow, because there'll be loyalty in, hey, this person, is really good, and they are, and it feels like for a lot of you, it has to do with something helping. It has to do with innovation in how you help others. And again, what Spirit is making me feel is you've gone through something here, and that's what's giving you the idea where there's no representation of you. And so one of the things that you're thinking of is, listen, if this is happening to me, it's happening to others. Spirit just brought in real estate as well, where there's something again, and I'm not talking about doing what everybody else is doing. I'm talking about having an idea and kind of adding your own twist to it and making it yours, and then others being able to follow you. So let's say the real estate idea. Spirit, do you want to bring that forward for me? So as a realtor, let's say you get your real estate license. Instead of pushing hard to sell the home, what you do and how you gain ground as a realtor is, instead of the used car salesman kind of attitude, and I can say that because I have gone through a lot of realtors, and it is the same all the time. And no offense for you realtors out there, but let's say you're a realtor. They don't have your back at the end of the day. They want the sale. And so as a realtor here, if you're a realtor, what you do is something completely different. You look through and you kind of say, your client tells you, oh, hey, I want to, I looked on Zillow and I want to see these 10 homes. And then you do your MLS search and you say, great, because I have 10 other homes to show you. But instead of you trying to do the hard sell, what you do is you take them to these homes and you're like, no, look at this. This is a problem over here. This is not good. And you may get through all 20 homes, and after you've pointed out all the problems, because you are an expert in real estate, and you're like, this is a bad neighborhood, the value's not going to go up, you're better off over here, or you don't even give them that type of advice. You just say, no, this is just not going to work. And you're not trying to push them into the next price point. All you're doing is pointing out what doesn't work. And because you're having integrity in what you're doing, and you're not being a used car salesman, what ends up happening here is the person that you sell that house to, who ultimately finds a great home without any problems, what ends up happening is they tell everybody about you. And because you're doing something different in the way that you're handling your career. So that's what I see for you. And again, these hidden thoughts, right? I see you brewing it. I see you thinking about it. I see you wanting to do things with integrity and authenticity. And I see there being a loyalty there once you go after this. In the challenge position, I kind of don't even need the cards, because the energy already came out even as I was shuffling. We have magic is alive in your life. Sorry, we have the magician. Magic is alive in your life. What you need to be a successful manifest. If you believe it, you can do it. And then we have the Eight of Pentacles to clarify that. And this is all sitting in the challenge position. So what we have here is, it's difficult for you to do this because no one else is supporting or validating your idea. And so, And again, this is not about reinventing the wheel. You are not doing something that is out of the ordinary. What you're doing is bringing your own flavor to it. And again, Spirit's bringing me another example. So, you know, I remember, I don't know, 30 years ago, if you had a cup of coffee, you had a cup of coffee. Meaning that if you went into I don't know how old Starbucks is, but let's say before the years of Starbucks, because I remember when Starbucks was not around. And if you went to buy a coffee anywhere, let's say Burger King, McDonald's, wherever it was, you got a normal pot of coffee, right? You got a coffee, cream, sugar, that's it, right? Those were your choices. And then suddenly we had these coffee shops popping up all over the place. And now it's become an industry upon itself in regards to what you do with coffee. And this is what I see. It's kind of like you're taking something that's ordinary and you're making it extraordinary. And this is where, in the challenge position, this is such a new idea and a new concept. You know, coffee is not the new concept, but back in the day, if you had said, you know, I'm going to open up a coffee shop and I'm going to, you know, because at home, this is what you do, right? You flavor all your coffees and you add whipped cream to it and sprinkles. And, you know, at Thanksgiving time, you make, you know, your pumpkin lattes, and it had never been done before, but that's what you were doing at home. This is what it shows. It shows that you have been working on something all along. But the challenge is that there's a lot of scope to it. There's a lot of ideas to it. And on one side, you feel like, you know, is this kind of like silly? Is this going to be the death of me? Is this going to be a dead idea, or is it going to be expansive and all-inclusive and lead to something great? So there's a bit of challenge in the mind of, because again, not getting validation. And again, I want to remind you, for those of you that can take this, one of the I wish I could find the book. I don't have it here in my library, but there is a brilliant book that those of you that are looking at a new business idea, or taking something, an idea of yours, and wanting to innovate it and having innovation in it. There is a book. I know I have it in my library because it always disappears. I give it to my patients and they never give it back. But what it is, it's a very old book, and it is about Fortune 500 companies. And this book came out in the, I think, 1990s. But one of the companies in there are Coca-Cola. And there's other big Fortune 500 companies in there. And it talks about how the company went from, you know, being completely just an ordinary company to becoming an extraordinary company with innovation. And so you want to be reading those types of books where you're seeing companies that were nothing grow into something, and where things had never, you know, I remember a day when the idea of putting water into a bottle and selling it was the stupidest thing that anybody had ever heard. And I remember when that happened. I remember when they started selling water in bottles. And before that, no one paid for water. If you wanted water, you got your water, and that was it, you know, when you went to a restaurant. And now, I mean, look at water. Water is one of those things that, you know, somebody's taken something that is a natural resource that is free, and they've turned it into something that is now a way of life for us, right? Getting all kinds of different waters, protein waters, alkaline waters, bloody energy waters, I mean, all kinds of stuff, right? And before that idea took off, everybody would have said, are you crazy? Water's free. Who's going to pay for it? So those of you that are old enough can remember that. But I know I'm talking to some very young people here, so you might have to talk to your grandparents and about what it was like, 30, 40 years ago, and get some perspective, because you all that are very, very young that are listening to us, you're really naturally gifted in being innovative. You know, our innovative culture is the young generation. And I'm talking about anybody really below the age of, at this point, below the age of 30. You guys are so innovative naturally, and you're going to change the trajectory of this planet, because you're conscious of what you're doing. And even though you get a lot of flack for who you are and what you're doing, it's you that has stations like YouTube and Instagram and Pinterest and TikTok. If it wasn't for young people, we wouldn't have innovation in those areas. So I want you to be strong. I want you to believe in yourself. This is the outcome. This is an incredible outcome. We have the Seven of Pentacles, we have the Four of Cups, we have the Two of Pentacles, and we have the Sun card. And what we have here is you, seeds well planted, efforts or investments that will be rewarded in the future. The need for patience, a time for resting and planning for the future, unnecessary worry. You've heard me say it before in other readings. I'm going to say it again. There's no such thing as unnecessary worry. If you are worrying, it's because there is a reason to worry. I can say that. I'm a clinical psychologist. I'm an expert in worrying. So, you know, if you are worrying and you're losing sleep, you know, that happens when you have a new situation. For those of you that think it's out of control, you know, definitely go see your doctor. But here we have you just kind of waiting for your idea to blossom. Waiting for, you know, so you've put money in and you're waiting for money to come back. So some of you are at that stage in this development. Here we have those of you that have put money in, and the way that the money is coming in or the investment's coming in is not how you expected it, and you're literally ignoring what is around you. So where the cash flow may not be there, what you're ignoring is the fact that you're networking, you're building a brand, you're building ideas, and all of this is low-hanging fruit that you're ignoring. And so here we have failing to recognize a magical opportunity, missing the point, the distraction of daily life, discontentment or boredom, lost in your own world. Wake up. So what the spirit is saying here, nothing as harsh as this, but what the spirit world is saying here is that even though for you the validation is money coming in, what is happening right now is the building blocks, the roots are going further and further into the ground. So what you're building can sustain and be sustainable and be something that will continue to grow and blossom as the years go on. So there's a lot of good here. There's a lot of fruitfulness in what you're doing. And here we have making decisions, right? So we have the Two of Pentacles, working too hard on or multiple jobs, the need to bring balance and fun into your life. Juggling multiple priorities, balancing the budget. So if you're doing something innovative, it is not realistic to sit back and relax. That is not the nature of business. That is not the nature of innovation. If you look at any entrepreneur that had an idea, it's filled with passion, desire, working on it until you can't work on it anymore. There's a special type of energy and adrenaline that runs through you, an obsession almost. So here we have you working very hard and diligently, and again, it's just emotional energy really that is walking that tightrope and feeling, you know, if you're working at the same time as you're trying to get this idea off the ground, it's more that you don't, you know, your energy's being pulled in two different directions, and that is expected, right? You can't give up your job because you're not at the point yet where you should be doing that. And for those of you, and that's why you're watching the reading, it shows here that you're not at that point yet. However, this is the ultimate outcome, which is why I wanted you to stick to the end of the reading, is the Sun card, a time of great joy and success, brilliant epiphanies that lead to magical opportunities. this is almost the exact same wording as the Ace of Swords that kicked off your reading. And this is why this reading is so important for you, Capricorn, because it starts off with the Ace of Swords and it ends with the Sun card, which, and it's saying that, go back to the beginning of the reading, it's saying literally the same thing. Which for me as a reader is extraordinarily important, because it feels on a divine level that it's like your soul has come in to do this, that this is a part of something that is an expression of what you have to do in this life. And you know, you have to be diligent, you have to work hard, you have to nurture it, and because you have a different way of looking at it, it is for you to be done. You know, we don't get, those of us that are innovators don't think the same as people that are non-innovators. So let me give you an example. Whenever you watch my readings, I'm an innovator. I'm a natural innovator in anything that I do. I always have been, always will be. And that's not because I strive to be that. That's because I was born that way. So, and this is just a little example. It's not saying I'm better than anybody. But what I'm saying is, so one of the things that when I started to watch tarot readings online, I've been psychic and a medium since I was a child. However, one of the things that happened when I was, you know, reading like everybody else and putting the tarot down on the table like everybody else does, is that I wanted to show you the cards. So I would do this, right? I'd be laying everything down and being like, look, you know, like everybody else does. And for me, because I am a psychic and a medium, I read tarot extremely differently. Again, I'm not trying to be different. I just do it differently because I think differently. And you know, there's brilliant tarot readers on YouTube, and they're not doing it incorrectly, and I'm not doing mine incorrectly. But when I'm talking about innovation is there's no other tarot reader that is using placeholders so you can see the cards. And I do it that way because, one, I want you to see the card, because if you were my client in front of me, I don't want to be in a private reading. I'm not going to be doing this all the time and look at this over here. I want you to see the energy. So, and again, that's just innovation. Is anybody else doing it on YouTube? No, absolutely nobody else. Is somebody now going to copy me? Probably, but I don't mind. It doesn't matter. It doesn't take away from what I'm doing. And if it enhances what they're doing, brilliant, right? Because when Coca-Cola came along, who came along next? Pepsi, right? Is it the same bloody drink? Yeah. And there are Coke fans and there are Pepsi fans. There's room for both. So what it shows here is that you're a natural innovator. It shows here that there's going to be great joy and success, but there is in time, right? It shows that you got to keep working hard. You got to get through the days where you're riding the wave out and you're not seeing the fruit of your labor. It shows here that ultimately you will have victory and success. Brilliant epiphanies that lead to magical opportunities, plans that work out perfectly, gratitude to the divine. So celebrate your ability to see things differently. Celebrate your ideas, even though it's tough to balance out. If you're working full time and trying to build this idea or business or investment, whatever it is that you're doing, that you're bringing these ideas into your mind. Like I said, Spirit is just bringing in that real estate example again and the attorney example again, where you know that you're gonna have money coming in. Not immediately, right? This feels like a life reading rather than like a monthly reading. But Spirit did say to me it's going through to the end of December. So for those of you that are maybe further along in the process, like I said, you will be able to begin to see some traction with your idea before the end of December. And that, for many of you, it means really refining and defining your idea, understanding your market. For others of you, it's knocking on doors and being able to sell your idea. And for others of you, it's figuring out, for those, I see some of you are in a shop front, meaning that you're in commercial. like a commercial space where people come to you for your idea, and others of you are creating stuff online. So there's going to be a brilliant outcome here. All this work is November and December, even into 2022. I wonder if it will come out in your 2022 money, career and finance reading. I'm not sure, because this is such a specific reading. I'm sure there's only like 10 of you that this applies to, because innovation is not a common thing unless it's with, again, our younger generation that are below the age of 30, who are naturally born innovators. You guys that are watching this below 30, more power to you with being fearless and getting on social media and bringing your ideas forward, because that's what we need in the world, for the world to change and the world to be more tolerant, and for us to expand as a planet, is to bring new innovation into the world. So Capricorn, it looks good, it really does. But there's a journey here. There's a journey, and there's a belief in yourself that you need to have. And like I said, if you need encouragement, there are books about these very famous companies. I mean, Edison failed at the light bulb 3,000 times. Coca-Cola failed at being Coca-Cola because the way they got their name, Coca-Cola, is because they put cocaine in Coca-Cola. They didn't know what it was doing. At that time in the Victorian era, they had no idea what cocaine was. And once they found out, they took out cocaine, but the name remained Coca-Cola. And so it's really helpful to read about these older companies that went through much difficulty in their innovation, but by sticking to it, they created something extraordinary that the world takes as ordinary now. Capricorn, that is your reading. I hope it helps.